So today we are going to learn how to solve equations using addition and subtraction. So that's our objective, to be able to solve real-world problems using addition and subtraction. Key vocabulary words. First of all, solution is the answer or value that makes an equation, write in the word equation, true. So 2 times 3 equals 6 is one equation. Another equation is x equals 5. Okay, and so another key vocabulary term we should know is inverse operation. Inverse means opposite. An inverse operation, okay, let's not use the word and. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other. For example, the opposite of plus is minus. The opposite of minus is plus. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The addition property of equality states that when you add the same amount to both sides of an equation, the two sides remain equal. They remain the same. If you do the same thing to both sides, they remain the same. Okay? So, for example, if you have the equation x minus 2 equals 5, if you add 2 to this side and you also add 2 to this side, the equation remains equal. Okay? And what you're doing, the reason why you add 2 to both sides is because you're solving for x. So if you have x minus 2 and you want to get x by itself to see what x equals, you do the opposite operation. Right now you're subtracting 2, so you do the opposite. You add 2 to both sides, and then you're left with x by itself. And you have to do what you do to one side, you do to the other side. So 5 plus 2 is 7. Okay, subtraction property of equality. When you subtract the same amount or number from both sides of an equation, the two sides remain equal. So whether you add the same thing from both sides or subtract the same thing from both sides, it's going to remain equal. So right now the equation says x plus 3 equals 7. So once again, you want to get x by itself. So if we have 3 added to x, the way to get x by itself is to take the 3 away. But what you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So now you're left with x, which is what we wanted to see what x is. We've got to subtract 7 or 3 from this side, so 7 take away 3 is 4. Okay, isolate the variable. To isolate means to be alone. Write the word alone. Or by itself. So, to isolate a variable means to get a variable by itself on one side of an equation. And that's what I was just talking about before on the last two. Okay, Mr. Libert made these notes, and so I got ahead of myself. Example here, x plus 2 equals 9. You want to isolate, get it by itself. The variable, we want y by itself. So right now, two things are with y. So we've got to get rid of those two things. Subtract the two things. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. So plus 2 minus 2, those cancel each other out. You're left with y. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. So we have to subtract 2 here. 9 minus 2 equals 7. That's how we solve it. Okay, go ahead and turn your notes over, if you will. We're going to do some problems together. And then you're going to do some problems on your own. First of all, together. X plus 1 equals 10. So we want to isolate the variable. We want x to be by itself. So if 1 is being added to it, then right now what we can do is subtract 1 from both sides to get x by itself. So minus 1, minus 1. So we're left with just the x. And 10 take away 1 is 9. So the answer here is x equals 9. Right now you have 8a minus 8 equals 15. We want to isolate the variable, so we do the opposite operation. Instead of subtracting 8, we're going to add 8. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other side. That puts us with just a here, and 15 plus 8 is 23, so a equals 23. Okay, 7 plus b equals 8. Right now, 7 is being added to b. We want b by itself, so we subtract 7 from both sides. That leaves us with just the variable b on this side, and 8 take away 7 is 1, so we find out that b equals 1. One thing I want to point out is when you get the answers, plug them back in the equations and see if they work. So if here you got x equals 9, instead of x, put 9. Is 9 plus 1 10? Yes, then you know you got it right. Here you got 23. Let's plug it in. Is 23 take away 8 15? It is, so we did it right. Here you got 1. Is 7 plus 1 8? It is, so we know we got the right answer. So plug them back in and see if you got them right. Remember, an equation is like a scale. Both sides must remain the same to be balanced or equal. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side to keep them equal. Okay, right now what I want you to do is pause the video, try numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and when you're done, come show them to me and I can check you off and you can take 2 tickets and grab the assignment. Thank you so much.